The Saab JAS 39 Gripen is a Swedish single-engine multi-role jet fighter, developed to replace the Saab 35 Draken and the Saab 37 Viggen. The first flight took place on December 9, 1988, and the Gripen entered service with the Swedish Air Force in 1996. The Gripen has been designed to perform various air combat missions including air defense, ground attack and reconnaissance. It can also carry a wide range of armaments such as missiles, bombs, rockets and guided bombs. There have been several versions of the Gripen. The single-seat A version, the two-seat B version for training, the first NATO-compatible C version, and the D version, which is a twin-seat version of the C model. In addition to these, there are also export versions. The Gripen NG, which is short for Next Generation, is a development of the Gripen C, with a focus on reducing acquisition costs and operating costs. The Gripen NG comes in two main variants, Gripen E single-seat and Gripen F twin-seat, both of which are powered by the more powerful General Electric F414 engine. The Gripen NG is one of the most advanced fighter jets in production today. It has a top speed of Mach 2, and can reach an altitude of 50,000 feet. It also has a combat radius of over 600 miles and can stay airborne for up to 6 hours without refueling. The Gripen NG also has increased fuel capacity, a wider wingspan, improved avionics and sensors as well as better stealth capabilities, although it is not designed as a stealth fighter. The upgraded avionics provide improved situational awareness for pilots, including increased battlefield awareness and reconnaissance capabilities. The NG can carry a greater weapons load, and has increased capabilities for encrypted communications. The avionics of the Gripen are fully integrated, making the aircraft a programmable aircraft. This allows for software upgrades to be introduced over time, to increase performance and allow for additional operational roles and equipment.
Sweden has again offered its Saab JAS 39 Gripen multi-role fighter aircraft for the modernization needs of the Philippine Air Force, PAF, which is looking to beef up its fleet. This developed following Monday's courtesy call of Sweden Ambassador to Manila Annika Thunborg to Department of National Defense, DND, Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. at the DND headquarters in Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City, on modernizing the armed forces of the Philippines to more effectively protect the country's territorial integrity and interests in its EEZ, exclusive economic zone. Secretary Teodoro emphasized that whatever defense acquisition the Philippines will pursue must be sustainable, interoperable, and supportable. Recognizing the Philippines' need for a modern PAF, Ambassador Thunborg highlighted Sweden's offer of its flagship multi-role fighter aircraft, the Saab JAS 39 Gripen. The JAS 39 is considered one of the top two contenders for the PAF multi-role fighter MRF acquisition project, with the other jet fighter being the U.S. Lockheed Martin F-16V Viper. The latest version of the American-made aircraft now being supplied in quantities in many air forces in the world. The JAS 39 is classified as the most reliable swing-role combat aircraft available in the world. The Swedish-made fighter requires minimal personnel and ground support equipment for dispersed operations and can operate from small unprepared roads. It is also equipped with sophisticated radar sensors and weapons. The requirements for the MRF project stipulate that the offered aircraft must be fourth generation or higher. The project also requires 12 MRFs at least capable of patrolling the country's protected waters and airspace. The MRF project is supposed to be part of Horizon 2 of the AFP modernization program slated for 2018 to 2022, which aims to acquire more equipment for external defense, but was pushed back for implementation due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. F-16 Fighting Falcon mission. The F-16 Fighting Falcon is a compact, multi-role fighter aircraft. It is highly maneuverable and has proven itself in air-to-air combat and air-to-surface attack. It provides a relatively low-cost, high-performance weapons system for the United States and allied nations. Features: in an air combat role, the F-16's maneuverability in combat radius, distance it can fly to enter air combat, stay, fight and return, exceed that of all potential threat fighter aircraft. It can locate targets in all weather conditions and detect low-flying aircraft in radar ground clutter. In an air-to-surface role, the F-16 can fly more than 500 miles, 860 kilometers, deliver its weapons with superior accuracy, defend itself against enemy aircraft, and return to its starting point. An all-weather capability allows it to accurately deliver ordnance during non-visual bombing conditions. In designing the F-16, advanced aerospace science and proven reliable systems from other aircraft such as the F-15 and F-111 were selected. These were combined to simplify the airplane and reduce its size, purchase price, maintenance costs and weight. The light weight of the fuselage is achieved without reducing its strength. With a full load of internal fuel, the F-16 can withstand up to 9 Gs, 9 times the force of gravity, which exceeds the capability of other current fighter aircraft. The cockpit and its bubble canopy give the pilot unobstructed forward and upward vision, and greatly improved vision over the side and to the rear. The seatback angle was expanded from the usual 13 degrees to 30 degrees, increasing pilot comfort and gravity force tolerance. The pilot has excellent flight control of the F-16 through its fly-by-wire system. Electrical wires relay commands, replacing the usual cables and linkage controls. For easy and accurate control of the aircraft during high G-force combat maneuvers, a side stick controller is used instead of the conventional. The Philippines was ready to ink 14 Swedish-made JAS 38 Gripen fighters for about $1 billion this year when Washington revived an offer to transfer a squadron of the top-of-the-line F-16 multi-role fighters to boost the military minimum credible defense capability. At the 2-2 ministerial meeting in Washington early this week, top defense and diplomatic officials from both the Philippines and the United States had agreed to speed up talks for the possible sale of Viper F-16s, which would include training, maintenance and logistics. The deal would include armaments, like air-to-air and air-to-ground missiles as well as countermeasures. Both sides underscored the importance of fast-tracking discussions on an acquisition plan for a fleet of multi-role fighter aircraft for the Philippine Air Force, said a joint statement after the ministerial meeting. We want to fast-track the transfer of the multi-role fighter because we really need the capability to intercept any intrusion into our airspace, an Air Force general said. We may have the radars to monitor and detect intrusions, but we need the fighters to stop these aircraft. The FA-50s are not fast enough and equipped well enough to challenge intruders, Senior Defense Undersecretary Carlito Galvez Jr., Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin had also agreed to prioritize the modernization of shared defense capabilities, particularly in the maritime domain through the US Foreign Military Financing and Excess Defense articles. The two sides also agreed to fast-track the delivery of priority platforms over the next 5 to 10 years, including the F-16s, USS Cyclone-class patrol vessels, Black Hawk helicopters to replace the scrap Russian Mi-17 medium-lift transport helicopters. The U.S. promised to provide $100 million for helicopters over and above the usual military assistance package under the Foreign Military Sales and Excess Defense articles. But the Philippines was more interested in the F-16s, which other Asian countries already have in their inventory. An Air Force colonel said the Philippines is ready to transition to F-16s after flying for several years the South Korean KAIFA-50, a lead-in trainer aircraft which has almost similar operating system with the F-16s. Our pilots are already familiar with the aircraft, it will be easy to transition to F-16s, the Air Force colonel said, adding the U.S. will also provide training, maintenance and logistics support. Unlike the JAS 38 Gripen, the F-16's multi-role fighter package will come in a complete package that could be sustained for 5 years. In 2021, the U.S. Congress approved the transfer of a squadron of 12 F-16s to the Philippines for $2.4 billion under the FMS program. However, the Philippines only has $1.2 billion and it decided to get the Gripen. The sale was delayed because of Sweden's strict human rights clause under the administration of President Rodrigo Duterte. That issue has been resolved, but the revival of the US F-16 offer put at risk the Gripen deal.